What's up, everybody? Mike Ward here, the founder and CEO of Next Level TRT. I just wanted to talk to the ladies this morning. I had someone ask me a question yesterday as to why I would put somebody on progesterone who doesn't have a uterus in hormone replacement therapy. I can think of 4 or 5, maybe even 6 reasons. First, neurological. You have neuroprotective benefits. Progesterone and its metabolites like allopregnanolone support myelin repair, reduce neuroinflammation. It can even protect against Alzheimer's disease. Mood stabilization. Micronized progesterone interacts with GABA receptors. I think it's GABA A receptors, actually, calming the brain similarly to like benzos, like Valium, but naturally, right? So that may reduce anxiety and insomnia. Number 2 would be just better sleep, right? Sedative effects via the GABA receptors modulation help to maintain or induce sleep. So that's pretty awesome. Many women report deeper, more restorative sleep when progesterone is included, even after they've had a hysterectomy, right? Number 3 would be bone health, right? So progesterone stimulates osteoblasts, and so it may have a synergistic role with estrogen maintaining bone density. Number 4 would be like cardiovascular protection. Progesterone, it can possibly assist with metabolism and endothelial function, which is the inner lining of your blood vessels. Blood pressure regulation, right? The research is still evolving on that, right? But it could possibly help with that. Another is thermoregulation, right? So, hot flashes. Progesterone can support better control of the motor symptoms, like hot flashes and night sweats, particularly in women who remain symptomatic on estrogen just by itself, right? And then really just hormone balance. I guess that would be number 6, hormone balance and symptom relief, I think. Some women experience estrogen dominant symptoms, right? When your estrogen levels are too high, it's kind of unopposed by progesterone. You get bloating, breast tenderness, irritability, even on estrogen therapy. So adding progesterone often smooths that hormone profile, right? And there's a lot of literature out there that can really support this stuff. I know that, like the PEPI trial, check that out, and work from Dr. Geraldine Pryor, they suggest that progesterone's benefits extend way beyond just endometrial protection. And then Dr. Avram Blooming and Dr. Carol Tavris, and they have a book called Estrogen Matters. They also touch on them. So I hope this is helpful. A lot of people think that whenever you put a woman on HRT, if she doesn't have a uterus, then there's no need to put them on progesterone, because they're thinking that the progesterone is only being used to pose estradiol in preventing uterine hyperplasia or uterine cancer. So it just extends well beyond that, especially in a woman who's maybe in perimenopause or postmenopause, early in postmenopause. It helps to transition into that. If you say, there's 2 types of HRT that you can do. Daily HRT, which would be, one of my protocols is estradiol transdermal. I like transdermal patches for estradiol because there's no literature out there that shows that it increases your risk of blood clots. I like a bioidentical estradiol patches, transdermal patches, and they have an extended release that lasts all week, or you can do every 3.5 days. And the dosing is different, so you just got to play with that. Always start low and increase slowly until symptoms resolve. And then the progesterone, this is where the sequential or daily HRT happens. I like to use micronized progesterone capsules because it is bioidentical, and there's no risk of cardiovascular effects or anything. Lots of literature on that. So I like to use micronized progesterone. And sequential or cyclic HRT means you add progesterone like day 15 all the way to the end, and then you cut it off, right? So it kind of mimics the natural physiological response of the menstrual cycle. And so after the luteal phase, on day 28, whenever progesterone and estrogen they spike right around your mid-luteal phase, and then they drop if there's no fertilization, and that's when menses occurs, right? So you add the you add the progesterone only on day 15 to the end of the month. It just mimics that natural cyclic pattern of a menstrual cycle. If you take the progesterone daily all the time, it can stop your menstrual cycle if you're perimenopausal. If you are having irregular periods, this happens a lot during perimenopause because you're kind of moving into menopause, right? Then cyclic may help better to regulate that menstrual pattern. And then if you go into a daily, it could actually halt the menstrual cycle. You may have some breakthrough bleeding or some very light bleeding, but other than that, that's what daily progesterone use would do. Anyway, I know that was a lot of information, but I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there, specifically with hormone replacement therapy in women. So I treat lots and lots of women. It's probably like 60-40 in my clinic, 60% men, 40% women. But it is helpful to find somebody that is very up to date and offers options. Anyway, I hope that helps, and I hope you have somebody near you who can give you some really great care. All right, everybody, take care. Mike's out.